Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is Vintage Story, Unearthed, for 120. Oh, there we go. We've got a friend. Now, the only weapon I currently have right now is a knife or an axe. An axe does 1.3 hit points of damage, so I might as well do that. But you can also do a little something different. Oh, there's two of them now. And this can help you with a little bit of damage over time, and that is by hitting them with fire. And by doing so, you have a chance of setting them on fire and then doing damage over time. You also do a little bit of damage. There we go. I just caught one of them on fire. You also have a chance of you do a little bit of damage just by slapping things, and a torch itself just has this secondary effect of damage over time that encourages them to not be happy with being near you with a torch. You'll have to be careful. There's a lot of like back and forths to try and avoid these guys. There are other ways of avoiding them. Just while I'm in this combat, it's not going to be easy. And they do tend to throw stones at you if caught at a distance. But it looks like I may have convinced them to leave me alone momentarily. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was just momentarily. So I remember a while ago I was talking about a Crude shield. I think it might be time for me to get one of those in my offhand. I've got enough berries, I'm not too worried about it. And with this menu pausing the game, I can actually take the time to look at this recipe. But it looks like it does take 3 cattails and 6 sticks, which I've got plenty of both at the moment, so I might as well do it. And I don't have enough cattails to make that extra basket, so this will just mean that I have a possibility of living a little bit longer. At least if they start getting a little bit more bold with attacks. Oh my gosh. Okay, what good timing is this? This is a surface shiver. Those are not nice things. And by sneaking, I can block attacks. And you can see that that lighting it on fire can be very beneficial early on if you don't have much of a weapon. Oh boy, that will probably end up coming back. And something just threw stones at me. Oh boy. This is going to be a fun night. Oh god. Okay, so there's a problem. There's more than just the default mob, the Shiver, and these guys nearby. And that is that there is a ranged enemy now. There's a lot more dangers for the night. Building yourself a dirt hut is usually a good idea, or sleeping the first night away. In this case, I'm not doing so hot because I got hit by one of those, it's a Bowtorn is what it's called. One of those Bowtorn creatures, and this is not good. I'm actually really injured, and this Bowtorn is close enough that it could probably snipe me if I don't have the right protection, which it's somewhere on the other side of this log. If I go out there right now, I will die. It will snipe me. I'll be dead, and then I'll turn into glowy self. I could try and find it, and if you do find Bowtorns, it's best to just rush them, because they will just retreat if brought into melee if possible. They can attack you if you're too close, but just chasing them off can be just really helpful. Let's see, do I have any more? No, I don't have any more firewood. Oh, okay, well, it sniped me. So this is what happens when you respawn. You end up coming back into the world all glowy-like, and this is a limited time that this happens. Are you safe? No. This just means that you're glowy. And I think somewhere over there is where I've got a rest in peace token, and I'm going to want to head in that direction. What time of day is it? It is currently 2 in the morning. So it'll be a couple more hours at least before the day really starts getting brighter. So I'm just going to head back and see if I can find my corpse before my glowy self stops being quite so glowy. Thankfully, the sun is reflecting off of the clouds, thus giving me a little bit of light to work with, because you can already see that my glowiness is not as glowy as it once was, and I can barely see anything. So I'm more or less just following a marker that's leading kind of towards my my corpse, which I think I can see my little encampment area now. Yeah. Now I do need to be careful. There might be other guys nearby, specifically those that tried and succeeded in killing me, and I can pick up my stuff that I dropped real quick and easy. Like, let's put the shield on my offhand. Those guys probably all despawned. I don't know if they came from a rift nearby. They may have, which rifts are usually these brown, vacuumous looking things in the world, and you don't want to stick your head in one of those because it will just make you temporally unstable, and you may end up regretting the experience. Well, it would appear that there was still enough warmth in the fire that I could just relight it for now. Not that I needed to, I more or less just thought that would be a good thing to do. Oh, lead ore bits. There's plenty to be seen in the world. Lead ore is not really going to be particularly useful this early on, but this is an example of things down below underneath this. This is a surface ore. Now, below surface ores usually don't have little evidence like this sitting on top in the world. It'll be much, much deeper, and usually those are much, much better. But in this case, the lead ore bits are just going to be useful for marking a spot. So I'm going to put a waypoint here. I'm going to use a little pick. I'm going to choose blue, and I'm going to save that. And that's going to be my lead waypoint marker for future me. Did I have... I swear I had more stuff. Oh no. I think some of my stuff may have fallen in the fire and burned. I had more bushes than this. I had blackberry bushes, but they all seem to have disappeared when I died. Oh. Yeah, don't hide behind a fire. That apparently could be a very bad thing. On the plus side, though, at least I do have berries. And with the berries being mentioned, let's take a look again at that nutrition. You can see I've had some fruit going up, and my hit points are, instead of just being 12, they are 12.9 out of 12. That doesn't seem to be right. But either way, the more I eat the fruit, you can see that the little nutrition meter is going up. My health points are going up to 13.2 now, 13.3, 0.4, etc. You can basically gain, I think it's like an extra several hit points from each different nutrition being higher in this aspect. So it's really nice. But in this case, I've also exhausted all food. So you can see now it's at 13.7 out of 13. That looks like a little bit of a bug, but it's just visual, if anything. I think that's about to expire. I'm going to take my firewood with me. Just by right-clicking, you'll take 2 at a time. By control right-clicking, you'll take much larger quantities. I can put that in my backpack. I can even take this for now. If I need to throw it out instead of saving it, I can do so. But if you die in Vintage Story, try not to get too discouraged. You can always go back, change the settings. Quite often you can use different commands and settings if you want to. Here's a little tip. /GM space C. That's game mode, and C is creative. That will get you into creative mode, and when you open this up, you have access to all of this. If you hit escape, you then also have a command handbook, which gives you all sorts of information in here that you can look up with client and server commands, or just all of them in general, and that can really help you out as well. Just be sure to use saves instead, so that you don't mess up your world before you start experimenting. But in that case, to get back, /GMS, that's game mode /survival, and that will take you back into survival mode. And what am I seeing over here? That's just a tree. I thought it might have been a wolf or something, which is also something very dangerous to think about. Now, me being a clockmaker class, that means that the only things that I'm not penalized on is going to be ranged combat. I'm not especially good at it, but I am not penalized for it, so I'm probably going to be focusing a lot on spears. I see that. You see it? Over there. That's the thing that came up and attacked me earlier. Oh, they're so horrifying. I might be able to take it out, but I don't have the right equipment. Let's see if I can do this before it despawns. We're going to try making some spears and try tossing them at it. I don't know if that's really going to work, but either way, it also allows me a certain measure of reach. I figure I can use one to throw at it, and then the next one I could just use in melee. I may do less damage, but it's better to be able to stab it than not be able to stab it at all. So let's make couple of spears. Put this over here. And I can start throwing it at it if it hasn't despawned. Sometimes they despawn, usually in daylight. The monsters will go away. No, it hasn't despawned. It's right there. Oh, is it running? It doesn't like me. Okay. Or it doesn't see that it's got the advantage. It can move really fast. Oh, take advantage of while it's down. Got it. Okay. Sometimes they'll have these like convulsions where they can't really do much. That's an opening for you to attack it. Ah. And if you have killed something in this world, whether it be a monster or some kind of animal or creature like that, always see if you can harvest it. Not all things can be, but these ones I know you can. So that's just sneaking with a knife in hand, right-clicking, and you'll open up any kind of contents in here, and it may have loot on it. Not always. Usually the mobs in here will have some useful materials now and again. Animals will usually have skins and fats and different things of that nature that will be useful in a different way, usually for sustaining yourself or clothing yourself, or maybe even light sources. And this is a rift. It's fairly harmless now because it's very bright daylight and it's not going to be spawning anything in this area. But if it was dark or in a cave or something like that, then yeah, the baddies would be coming out of it. And if you get too close, you'll notice your wheel starts spinning here, and it starts dropping, and everything starts turning brown and wobbly and everything. Yeah, that's something that you don't want to experience if you can avoid it. If you really want to farm things that come out of that, you can just stand in that for a bit. Me personally, I don't think I will be, though. So here's something you need to be careful of. I use a mouse scroll wheel to scroll to my torch, scroll to things on my hotbar, because I've got my torches on my hotbar. I need to remove that. If I'm standing in this water holding a torch, it's fine. But if I sneak while I'm in that water, I extinguish the torches. If I go in any deeper water than this, I extinguish my torches, if they're in my hand. So you just really have to be careful with torches until you can get a more waterproof light source in hand. Okay, that's trouble. That's a bear. Okay, the other side of the pond, that's a bear. We need to put that here. There's a bear sighting. Yes, bad bear. Unlikely that it's a friendly bear. There are some bears that are somewhat friendly, or at least docile. Ooh, yeah, in this case, I'm just going to move on. This is peat. This is the equivalent of firewood. You can use it just by digging it up. You can use your bare hands, whatever, and use it in a similar manner. You can't use it to start a fire, but you can put it in a fire and then light it. That's already in place. So it's really handy to have, though. And actually, I should probably put a marker down in this too. Now, I do have enough cattails, though, that I can make a second basket, and thankfully I didn't lose my other basket, so that's definitely a thing. And I now have a lot more inventory space to work with. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, and look at this. We've got mushrooms. Now, there's multiple ways of finding out if they're useful, handy, edible. Just about everything's edible once, but just be aware. It might be the last thing you ever eat. So if you want, hit Sneak H, and you can find out on here. When eaten, 80 saturation. It's great. Okay, there's no minuses to your hit points for eating it, so it should be safe to eat. You have your own handy-dandy memory that you have to dig through in order to figure out if this is going to be a good snack or a deadly one. Aha! Okay, this is really going to be important for a little tiny bit after the Stone Age, and that is going to be copper. You'll find copper bits. It can range in a lot of different ways. There are different types of copper as well, like malachite is just another name for a different type of copper. But I'm going to mark this one. I'm going to mark it as orange copper. I'm going to put a little pick symbol, and I can come back and get this when I'm ready. Again, I still don't have very much inventory space, and I think I'm more interested in the survival aspect than I am with progression just yet. Ooh, onions. Okay, so this is more a survival-y type thing that I'm looking for, and this is really going to be helpful. In my previous play of Unearthed, I was a hunter class, which meant I did get reduced drops when I was grabbing these things. Now I have a regular ratio of getting these. Now if they're in the last 3 stages, there's a chance you can get the seeds and a food item. The closer it is to being complete, so you can see the growth stage listed at the top there, the more drops you're likely to get, or at least likely to. Now if you look at this one over here, it's stage 4 out of 7. So the last 3 stages would be 5, 6, and 7. So I'm not even going to bother with that one. You can mark it on your map if you want. Me, I just like to grab what I can and move on. And in those cases, you're not likely to get much of anything, if anything. So I'm just going to leave these onions. Maybe they'll mature later on, but that trick before of tilling underneath them has been eliminated, so you now have to take what you can get. Oh, and speaking of that, this is what I've been looking for. Cattails. Alright, I'm going to be busy with this for quite a while, so I'll be back if something interesting happens, or I finish harvesting all these cattails, whichever comes first. Alright, I've cleared out quite a few of the cattails. You can see now I've got more than a stack of the roots, and quite a bit of the cattails themselves. This being said, it's time that I upgrade my inventory even further by doubling its size and making 2 more of these hand baskets. Oh, thank goodness. Boy, this is so much better now. And with that, I have enough space that I can start making some other things that I've been looking at, and that involves horsetails. Just getting this, commonly in real life, it's referred to as a weed, but it does have certain medicinal purposes. And when you slap it on a bed of cattails, you can make yourself some horsetail poultice, and that can actually help heal you. You can see here, when used, +2 hit points. Each one of these little meters here, or bars here, represents basically 1 hit point. So I can heal myself for 8 health, or most of my hotbar, or most of my health right now. So that's kind of important to me, is to stay alive, because if you die, your nutrition levels also drop. Your hunger goes back down to halfway, or maybe even less. It can be really annoying. And speaking of staying alive, I think I need to get myself a little bit better defense than just this shield. Not to say that it's bad in any way, but there are more ways that you can also do so. So let's bring up the guide and look up armor. You can see there's armor stands, but look, improvised body armor. That's going to be something that we're going to start with. Just a bunch of firewood, which is, I believe, 14 pieces plus 9 dry grass and a knife to kind of like get it all fitted together. So I have a whole bunch of firewood, so that shouldn't be a problem. I just am missing a bit of the grass, but as I'm surrounded by the stuff, I don't think that'll be a problem either. Okay, 9 of those, a whole bunch of wood plus my knife makes improvised body armor, which I can then put on me. Boop. And I now am looking a bit more swampy. This will give you extremely low percentage of protection, but it still gets you some. There are some mobs that when they hit you, this will just break entirely. The higher the tier the mob, the more durability it will take away from you when it hits you. So just keep in mind, this isn't going to stay alive for 75 hits worth unless it's a really low hitting creature. But in this case, I'm happy to have it nonetheless. And my food levels are actually running really low, and I'm out of berries. I ate them all. I ate all my vegetables that I had on me, so that's not good either. I can make something here called a reed chest, which is going to have a bunch more storage, and I can use that back at my base to actually store more stuff. There we go. I now have only 1 cattail, but I can also bring back a bunch of these cattail roots that I currently have and plant them back at my planned base area. Oh, do you see that? That is a pig. That actually looks like a boar as well. So that could be a good meal, as well as source of many different things. I see a fox over there, which, by the way, foxes, they usually aren't worth the fight. If you're absolutely desperate and you have a safe way of dispatching them, then sure, go for it. But it's they can usually be used as friends instead. They will run from you unless you are injuring them, in which case if you can trap one of them in your garden, then it will keep out pests, like rabbits, which is great. So let's see, I'm going to make myself some spears. Now, I usually like to keep a house pig, but in this case, I'm pretty hungry, and I'm also in need of the different hides, and this pig is looking pretty darn tasty right about now. So the good thing about throwing spears is that when you throw them, you'll automatically reload into that same hand another of the same thing. So if you have other spear types in your inventory, the next available one will go right to your hand and you'll be ready in combat. Now in this case, I think actually I want to make one more. Yeah, one more. I like to have an excess of spears because I'm always going to lose one or two. They are really cheap to make, but it does take a little bit of time to do so. And throwing them does so much more damage than if I were to use them in melee. Plus, I'm less likely to take damage that way. So you can see here I've got 6 spears, so I have lots of opportunities to miss and or do damage. Now I just need to find where that boar went. There it is. So by just sneaking here with my shield, I might be able to tank some of the damage, but in this case, I don't trust it. So it's going to come at me until it's taken too much damage, and then it's going to run away in fear. Oh gosh, it got away. All right, let's keep chasing it. Eventually we might be able to get it to go into a water source, or I can just get a good hit on it and finish it off. We'll see. Water sources often can slow down an animal in their retreat, but keep in mind that if you throw a spear into the water, you can see there it kind of like changed its trajectory. It'll slightly deflect off the surface water, so that is something to take into consideration. Okay, I don't have much space, but that's alright because I am more interested in the contents of what this piggy has. Oh, food and fat, and a little bit of rawhide. This is all great. So I can take this and some of this and make myself some oiled hide. I'm going to also get rid of this knife that is about to expire, grab some of the meat, get rid of some of the stuff that I really don't need right now, which is going to be some of these spears. Actually, I could probably get rid of the axe, but I'm going to need that in a moment to make more firewood. So let's get rid of one of those spears that I don't need. And then this fat will be really important as well, so I'm going to get rid of another spear. Those were all disposable. I just wanted to make sure that I had enough in case this guy started charging me. You can see here if I hit escape, that knife that I had just kind of flings out to the ground. Now if you do want some bones, you can make yourself a more durable axe or knife with those. And I think in this case I might actually throw away that as well. Where that? Come on, there we go. Now I've got 4 bones. I can use that for making some more durable early axes and knives. You can use them for handles instead of sticks for those 2 tools. But that's it though, just those 2 tools. Oh shoot, I'm really close to where that bear was. That bear was right there. Where's the bear? I am suddenly very paranoid. Okay, need to back off a bit. My inventory is getting pretty full. I have some food to fill up, so I think what I'm going to do is take all my spoils and head back to spawn, which is actually where I want to set up my base. I'll meet you guys back there, hopefully not after running into any kind of bears. Sometimes, though, you might find things like this. There's a ruin. This is a really big one, too. Quite impressive. Usually they're made out of the same stones that are in the area. In this case, there's a bunch of sandstone. But there's an ore vessel here. This could be really valuable. I don't think that I really want the ore right now, though. If it was like a tool vessel or food vessel, I would probably take that. But for the moment, I'm going to leave that there. I'm sure I'll find that place again. It's really nice to find. And this, look, apple trees. Lovely. It's in young stage, which I can't get any of the branches from it yet. I'm going to wait for those to grow a little bit more before I can harvest this. But I don't see a reason why I can't mark this on my map. Now, I'm just going to say apple tree, as it is a pink apple tree. That's pretty accurate there. It's pink apples. So now I'm going to head back and hopefully make it back to my starting area before it gets too dark. Okay, that's danger. That's a lot of danger right there. There's a wolf. I almost ran through that area. So I might go around. I could try going after it. It's fairly visible where it's at. And that could be better. I don't have enough spears. I can't take this wolf out. If it comes at me, I'm dead. I'm running. Okay. I only have 2 spears because I started throwing them out so I could carry more stuff. Let's just get out of here. Alright, let's put a torch down just so that I can see a little bit in case, well, in case anything comes nearby, like a wolf, or drifters, or shivers, or bowtorns, or, oh gosh, bears. But for now, I'll just do that at the moment and get myself a fire started. I just need my knife again. And there we have it. The fire's going, cooking up some meat for dinner later. Now, if I absolutely need to, a source of food is actually lumps of fat. It's 200 saturation, doesn't expire. They are much better when used in other applications, but it doesn't mean that, you know, sometimes that application wouldn't mean your own belly being filled. But anyway, I think I'm going to try and cycle the night tonight while that is cooking, which I will also need a little bit of firewood for. So as I was saying before, if you start at the top, you won't chop down the entire tree. You'll just chop it and above. So in this case, I can use this to make myself a little bit more firewood and go from there. And as I don't like cycling the night usually, I might actually do so in this case just because I got wrecked last time trying to survive the onslaught of the oncoming mobs. And I think what I'm going to try and do instead is make myself a bed and then try and sleep through about 7 or 8 hours of the night, which I think is what a straw bed should be able to handle. And I think 24 does it. That makes 3 bales. Then you take those 3 and you got yourself a hay bed. Hay bed. Now if I put this down here, I should be able to sleep. Now the thing is, my hunger is going to drop and I'm probably going to start taking some damage. But on the plus side, I've already got some food, and rather than let my hunger eat the food and then let this go down again, I think I'm going to take the damage. I'm going to go into third-person view just so you can see the night as I sleep. Cycle through, and you can see that the sky spins. It's really cool. And I'm taking damage now from my hunger while I'm sleeping. Oh, look at those clouds coming in. Ripply tonight. It's really cool. Oh, but it's daytime. And I don't need to worry about those guys. Just about eating my breakfast, which I only lost a tiny bit of hunger that time. And now I can eat this. Oh, and that was so much better. Now this is basic food. There's much better ways that you can make food into, well, better things. Oh, look at that. There's already a drifter right there. Just crawling around. Where are the... Oh, those are just raccoons. Okay. I thought that was more drifters. I'm like, where are they all coming from? But I'm going to take these so they don't go out in the rain. And you can see here this is fresh for 5 days and gives you 280 saturation, which is 2.8 of these bars on your hunger meter, basically. So it's really good, just getting some fresh red meat. Now there's bush meat you can get from things like your trash pandas over there. If you kill them, or foxes, or wolves, you get bush meat, which is, it takes extra fuel to cook it. This cooks relatively easily, and it doesn't give you quite nearly as much, basically, saturation amounts. And I just ate that, and I probably shouldn't have, because I just ate more than I needed. Anyway, yeah, you can keep on stuffing food in your mouth. It's not always going to do much good. I'm just going to wait for these to cook. I'm going to take this last piece of firewood, set it there for now, because you can actually cook things. Even if this were to disappear, it's still got 700 degrees that it can still cook the red meat, and it just needs 150 minimum for it to actually continue cooking. So this may expire, but it will still keep on cooking regardless until this temperature drops too low. There we go. I now have a couple of snacks I can take with me as well. Now this oiled hide, why was I actually applying the fat to that earlier? Well, let's take a look at that. After 48 hours, it'll cure into a pelt. And a pelt can be used for your basic early level wooden armor, as well as it can be used for a hunter backpack, which is 4 slots instead of 3. In this case, one of the size that I have, which is medium, I think that's large. If you wait for it to cycle through, you'll probably end up seeing, there we go, medium. It'll turn into a pelt, and then a bunch of cattails or papyrus can make one of those. Alternately, as I was saying, you can make yourself some kind of like wooden armor or something like that. There we go, wooden armor. That was bronze armor that I was looking at there, but it does require a bit of resin. So I think early on I'm probably just going to be going for the increased storage slots, and then later on I can go for those. Either way, I don't have a place to put this. And I was talking about these reed chests that I'm kind of like setting down and around in this area. So let me actually put these down, and then I can use them to put some stuff in. Some seeds, all these cattail stuff, the bushes, just anything I don't need at this exact moment, I can fill into these chests. Oh, thank goodness. Now, alternately, there's other things that you can do too. I don't have a lot of sticks, but I'm still going to do this just so you can see it and so that I can perhaps use it later. But you can put tools in here. For instance, a fire starter won't go into a tool rack, but you could put other tools like an axe or knife or whatever like that in that place. In this case, let's actually I want to pick this up, put down the fire starter here should I need it. Clear this grass away from the fire because I just need to be able to see it. And then I can put the firewood here so that I have it for the fire in the future. If I put it in there right now, it'll just relight. So I just want it to be stacked not too far away. And I have the beginnings of a base. It's not a lot, but it's something. And I do see potential future food items because those guys are just going to steal any berries on berry bushes if you don't kind of give yourself protection for it. Which I may end up making like a little raccoon trap or just an animal trap in general here. I do need to actually start setting up crops. The sooner you set up crops, the better off you'll be. And with that, I think we'll pause and end it here for this episode. Tune in next time for the continuation of Vintage Story Unearthed for 120.